Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Patterson Properties. I have the pleasure of having the DMV area's #1 superstar real estate agent, house flipper, you name it. She's doing it and inspiring us all. Talithia Morris here with us today. Please say hello to everybody, Talithia.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Thank you again for joining us. And if you need inspiration, this is the young woman to do it for you, whether it's come to open houses or being a real estate agent. If she can motivate me, I'm sure she can motivate you all. We're just going to ask a couple of questions, hear a little bit about her background story, and then go from there. So please, Talithia, tell us, the audience, a little about where you come from in your previous career before getting into the real estate business.
Okay, sure. So I am, I guess, a native to Virginia, Northern Virginia. Um, just a little bit about me as far as like just growing up, single parent of three. So I mean, well, not me, but my mother. So uh, she's a single parent of three. So I guess a lot of my drive came from like just seeing her, some of her struggles and so forth when I was growing up and whatnot. And I am the oldest sibling. So um, like I said, a lot of that push came from that and just seeing certain things she went through and how I just wanted to try to put myself in a better situation to avoid certain things. So I've been working like an actual job since I was 15. Um, and I haven't stopped since then. I always have like multiple streams of income, either from doing, like little side jobs and stuff like that, growing up and whatnot. And then I would say I got my first job, like real job, the steady paycheck, when I was when I was 18, and it was actually working with my mother at a company she worked at for the federal government. But it was a contract position, so I worked there for like 4 years, and I went to different universities at the time. So after that, I came back here to because I went to Georgia State for a year. Came
Okay,
back
very nice.
came back to Virginia. Graduated from Georgia Mason, and when I was getting my degree, I only wanted to get my degree because I was thinking, oh well, I'll make more money depending on what I do in school. But I've always had like the business mindset, so that was what my major was actually too. So um I've had this long-term passion of wanting to so my long-term goal is to help homeless people get a second opportunity to get back on their feet. So I want to have a homeless hotel where I house them and
Nice.
have it set up with different companies that they can get back into the workforce or learn a trade or something like that. But giving them the foundations that they need, like to get started, and because everybody's not dealt the same hand, whenever we're
Agreed.
starting out in life. So that's uh, so when I wanted to do that, I was like, okay, I need a lot of capital to do that, and I figured the best way to do that would be through real estate investing, and as well as me starting as a realtor. That kind of came from that. So when I did both kind of at the same time when I started both, but I bought my first house when I was 21, like my personal residence.
Oh, wow, look
And
at you. I
yeah,
wish I had that
I mean,
mindset when I was 21.
I, to be honest, I'm always just like one of those people like kind of like, oh, how do I do that? Like, how can I do that? So my mom had bought a house in 2008, and I was like 18 at the time. I was like, you think I could buy a house? And she was like, well, the lender said that he thinks you might be able to. And so I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy a house then. So and so but from that experience, there was a couple of realtors that actually kind of didn't even entertain me whenever I was asking about like what's the process. And I think it's because of my age, and they probably thought it was a waste of time maybe. So the realtor that did like take me serious, I worked with her, but there were still some missing pieces whenever she was telling me that, well, she helped me through the process, but there were some missing components that I said I would offer to my clients whenever I was working with them, because I want them to see the whole picture. So I try to get knowledge on all ends, whether it's about different programs that are out there available for you as a first time buyer, just to encourage, not to say primarily, but sometimes like with the Black culture, like we're the ones that we're not in the know about everything that's affordable and available out there for us. So I try to get that to as many people as I can.
Very true. Very true.
So that's pretty much kind of how I started in both areas, and I think in March will be 3 years for both that
Wow.
I've been doing them.
You should be commended for that. And the biggest thing that stuck out from your story when you shared it, and thanks again for sharing your story, was that you were working in the federal government.
Oh, yes.
Transitioned out. I myself am in the same capacity trying to transition out via real estate and via other business ventures. So, side note question. Would you see yourself wanting to go back into that environment on a full-time level compared to what you're doing right now?
No. So I had another story that I shared a few days ago on Facebook that about what happened with my job. And I didn't leave like willingly.
Right.
um, and but now I'm thankful that it happened. I just didn't want it to happen that way. Trust
Right,
me,
right,
because you always I'm always been a planner, and I save for certain things, but like when something like that happens, you just you can't anticipate what to do next. And so
mm,
I was lost for a second, but I have a strong relationship with God, and
mm,
I had to pray about, certain things, just kind of just confused why it's happening to me, and stuff like that. And I I don't know I still don't know what I did to my supervisor for her to, so in a nutshell, she basically decided she hated me at some point.
mm,
And when I went to go leave for another job opportunity, I got some bad advice, and from somebody to let her know that I was going to another job in the agency. And
mm,
so that gave her the, I guess, ammunition to notify them of whatever she decided she was going to terminate me.
mm,
And then they rescinded the job offer that they had extended to me. So I was left with like literally no job.
mm.
And I had other things going on at the time where my money was tied up, and it was just a horrible experience. But I'm sure people have different experiences, a greater deal, larger capacities, but for me, that was like the most challenging part um, for me thus far,
Mm,
just trying to figure out how I'm going to get things back together, because I did
mm.
have financial obligations. So, but I feel like, so I did get another job at some point, and my friend is funny because she's like, Talithia, I thought we talked about this, like 9 to 5s aren't for you. And I,
Amen to that.
she's like, 9 to 5. She said 9 to 5s don't work for you. And I was just like, that, and they don't. So to
Mm,
answer your question, Larry, no, I would not go back. But it's because I feel like this is the path I'm supposed to be on,
right.
and I'm doing what I was sitting here to do. So
Absolutely.
I'm working in that capacity. So I don't, even if something like offered itself, I don't even think it will work out for me long term, because I'm not, I'm deviating from the path of what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
So I will be your realtor for life, and I'll continue to real estate invest in certain areas of real estate investing, and
uh,
that will be for like generational wealth.
And I think that's one of the smartest things ever. And I think that's not talked about enough in our community, is having generational wealth, pass down something in order for when people leave high school and college or leave the military for trade school, et cetera, that they have something to fall back on. Because, I grew up in the Northern Virginia area myself, and we've seen how other communities have flourished because of them practicing group economics, from whether it's a restaurant, a warehouse, a piece of real estate, et cetera. You know,
Hmm.
think if we implement that more into our mindset, we'll be much better off in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for answering that question. Next question, and this is the one I definitely would like to know. What made you decide to become a successful fix and flip real estate investor?
Um, honestly, I mean, who hasn't seen the TV shows, right? And let me tell you, it's not like that.
No,
I've
it's
had some challenges with it, and so to be honest, so the fix and flip capacity, the fix and flip part of it, it's just because of the capital you can make from it
Mm.
with doing fix and flips. It's the easiest way to, well, not the easiest, but if you have a solid deal and you know you can make money from it, then that's one of the quickest ways to make money, right? So
Absolutely.
that was my reason for doing that type of real estate investing. But over the last couple of years, well, actually this year, it was really hurtful for me too, because I had a trusted contractor I was working with for like
Mm.
three years, and this year he just really screwed me over, like.
Mm.
And so it not only hurt from the trust standpoint, but it hurt my pocket too.
I can believe it.
So but the year prior was, like, the beginning of the 2019 was great. We completed a fix and flip deal, and we made like, what, 70, I think it was 78,000 um profit. And
Mm.
then, but the next deal, and some of it may have been me going to, like, getting too excited, just taking on too much.
Mm.
But my contractor, I'll tell you, anybody who's trying to get into real estate investing, you have to have a reliable, like, solid contractor, because they will make or break the business for you. So it's that's like the most important part, to be honest, because that's what, if for the last few deals that I did, they
Mm.
weren't profitable. They were a loss because of my contractor. He told me it was going to be completed by a certain time. It ended up taking 3 or 4 months. Now you're in a
Mm.
new season for when you're going to sell it. And
Mm.
whenever you're doing your numbers and everything to make sure it's a legit deal, you're not factoring in somebody taking 4 or 5 more months to complete your project.
Wow.
So those things played a factor in it. And just some other parts, but that was the major thing. And so you really need somebody that's going to be trusted, a reliable contractor.
I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And that, in a sense, segues into the next question. Since your journey has inspired me and others, what advice would you give to younger people coming fresh out of high school or college, having a career within the federal government, the private sector, and having other economic options, things of that nature?
Yeah, I would definitely say, um you don't even have to do real estate investing,
Mm.
but uh it feels good knowing that if you have some type of, some people have this concept that, oh, I don't want to own anything. I don't want to, and I don't own anything. My companies own it, but
Right.
you don't, that, we just have to kind of be out of the mindset of that, because you have to think about, like, what's after you. Like, if you don't have a plan and you have any children, and you're just it, then okay, maybe. But but if you plan on having a family and stuff like that, like, I've talked to some people this year. One lady I talked to, she was like, I'm determined to be a homeowner at the end of this year, because unfortunately in 2019 she lost both of her parents.
Mm.
And she said that they didn't have anything to leave her but debt, pretty much. And so she said, I have 3 boys, and I want to make sure that I'm able to leave them something. So that's why she's buying a house this year.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
yeah, and so I would say, but you got to find something that you're passionate about doing. What are you going to, even when it's going south, and you know is not the happiest days, you got to find joy in still doing that, because that's what's going to keep you going with that. But my long-term goal is what's, like, keeping me, like, focused on getting there, because I have a bigger purpose. Like, I have to serve more people. So, but I would say definitely, even if you don't want to, um, like, commit to all this, I guess, commit to property, purchasing property and all this stuff, just kind of think about it, like, from a generational standpoint. And will you have anything to pass on your legacy? So you just have to consider those things. And I would say, honestly, if you just had a rental property, that might, suffice. You don't have everybody's, we need everybody in certain jobs, or else we wouldn't have, like, a functioning, like, country, right? So
Exactly.
everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur and stuff like that. But just think about it from that standpoint of, like, what about after me versus just what about me.
Yes, indeed. Long term at the end of the day, because like you said, if you're not going to own something for yourself, at least own something for your children or somebody within your family. absolutely
Yeah.
passed down. I mean, another great example of that, a buddy of mine and a lot of his family, you know, how in parts of the United States where gentrification is taking place,
Yeah.
like Los Angeles, you know, my future home, um, you see a lot of gentrification going on, but my buddy and his family, they've been there for generations. And the only reason why they're still there for generations is because 10 out of the, I think of the 10 out of the 15 original siblings, they all passed down homes. Who are now
Oh,
it's a
that's
quadruple.
great.
They bought these homes at $70,000, $80,000. Now these homes are worth almost $500,000.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
they
great.
passed them down from generation to generation, you know, and you know, you got people that are coming to them every day begging to buy the properties from them.
Oh, yeah.
But they're like,
I'm
no, we
sure
know
they
the
will.
value of these properties. We see the stadium coming. We're not leaving Inglewood. We'll be right here.
Exactly. But you
And
know, some people like up in Baltimore where they're doing regentrification too, it's sad because they're kind of forcing them out of their homes.
mm,
And like I know somebody personally, like they missed their 2017 taxes just because they literally forgot
mm,
that it came in the mail, $700. But then next year they paid their taxes, but then now they have to go to attorney and pay like 10 grand to get their property back. So there's, you know, a lot of twisted stuff going on too.
mm.
It's just unfortunate, but you know, I mean, it's part of what it happens, but the best thing is to be educated about that. So you don't fall into one of those, you know, predicaments.
I couldn't agree with you more. And then thank you for, I didn't even realize that, you know, because Baltimore was the area
Yeah.
in that buying in the future as far as investment properties because it's so cheap. And I've heard that even hearing that story just gives me the more of the ammunition to say it's time to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So what, real quick question, what advice would you give to any future real estate agents that have just passed the test and obtained their license and ready to hit the ground running?
I will say first, if you got your real estate license to um, make some extra money, um, reevaluate that because I'll probably get somebody that reaches out to me like once a week or every other week
Mm,
saying, hey, yeah, I'm looking into becoming a real estate agent. And my first question to them now is, I actually have a template of what I text back because
that's
it's so
smart.
common. And it was funny. My boyfriend, he told me, he was like, yeah, why don't you just save that message you just wrote to your friend so that way when the next person messages you, I was like, good idea. It's actually coming handy.
Work smart, not hard, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I want to respond back to people, but you know, I am busy, and you know, but if you're looking at it to just, you know, make some extra money, like that's not the position to do, okay? Because people are looking for you to advise them and walk them through
Mm,
and they're of a process, the biggest purchase in their life, okay?
mm,
So you have to be there for them 100%. So you can't just be looking at it as a paycheck because they're trusting you to have all the information that they need to get them through the process, um, less the least amount of stress as possible.
absolutely.
So, so for one, if you're looking for that, um, don't even worry about it. Just go try to find something else. And then I'm serious because you won't survive in it.
I understand.
So second, I would say that um if you're just getting your license and you're really passionate about it, um, you know, you have to just learn the contracts and stuff because unfortunately, whenever you take the test, like that's not even teaching you how to like be successful in real estate. It's just teaching you the laws so you don't get in trouble with the law
Got you.
whenever you're out here working with clients.
Mm,
So just, you know, try to get the word out there. I know when I first started, I just kind of reached out to my sphere. They tell you to reach out to your sphere of influence,
mm.
and you can't be shy. So like to be honest, I had just said this year I was gonna like just say yes to stuff because I'm terrified of video. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I never would have guessed it. I never, honestly.
When you wrote me, I was like, I told my boyfriend, I was like, crap, Larry asked me, can I do this video for it? And I was like, he probably doesn't even know.
I would have never guessed it. I learn something new every day.
So I'm just like, but yes, I am. But I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone this year because my goal is to reach more people, and video is the best way to do that because they can reference it later. They don't
Absolutely.
have to look at it right now. So yeah, but you just gotta like do stuff that's, I mean, it's not in your comfort zone, but you can't get to the next level of like success with just being comfortable. So
Right.
that's why I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it, Larry. And I was like, I know you support, so I was like, all right, I got to get on here and do this tomorrow.
I
but
really appreciate
but
that.
but I am terrified of
Oh, well, you're doing great. You're a natural at it.
what.
I'm sure your boyfriend gave you he said, you got this, you can 100%. So, and that's what's all about, support systems at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so but yeah, you just gotta be, and you gotta be consistent about stuff because there's a lot of realtors. I feel like they're, you ever met a realtor that's just like, oh yeah, I'm a realtor, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know, like you, you might go back to their Facebook, be like, did they even post it? Like,
All the time.
did they post anything? But you don't want somebody to be like, oh, I forgot you were a realtor.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's what,
exactly.
but you don't want to overwhelm people or bombard them with, like you're jumping down their throat and stuff with, like, hey, I'm a realtor, but just try to provide the value first and then the clients will come.
Absolutely. Because that old saying, if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So I just try to make sure I get all the information I can. There's some realtors that I've spoken to. They were like, oh well, I'm not a lender, so I don't want to tell them something wrong. And I'm like, you're not telling them like, hey, you're gonna get this interest rate, you're gonna get this. Like you're just providing the other information. So that's what I always strive to be, the realtor I didn't have. My
Mm,
first realtor, she didn't tell me what's the difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan. My
mm.
second realtor didn't tell me like what I need to know about debt to income ratios. And I was the one searching for myself for the best loan option for me, what was going to work best for my situation.
Mm.
And then that's how I found my second house. I found myself, um, and I just brought my realtor along. But
That's sad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but
and,
that's killing me.
yeah, but but the way the internet is set up now,
Yeah.
that's possible you may, but this one it wasn't coming to me in the MLS. I was just looking online and I found it, and she was still to this day, she was like, I don't know where this one was. It came back on the market and it wasn't on the MLS, so I
Mm.
don't know. But yeah, so you just gotta provide, like I said, provide the value. And it is good if you can go through the experience yourself first,
Absolutely.
inviting other people along on that journey.
Mm.
Because if you haven't even bought a house yourself and you're like, hey, buy this house, oh, do you own a house? No, I rent. And it's just kind of like, you're in a kind of position where you're asking somebody else to do something you haven't even done yet yourself.
Right. Right.
So I feel like I had the experience to bring to the table too, because I had did that. So some of my friends were comfortable working with me because they knew that I had my my friend, her dad used to call me the industrious Talithia. So
Okay, I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
that was like when we were like real young, and they were like, but some of my friends were like, why can't you be like Talithia? Talithia works, Talithia does. And I was like, well, first of all, y'all are the one telling them the you're telling your parents that information. I didn't tell them that stuff. But and then they're like comparing them, but um I think that's how I was able to get started with it,
Mm,
and grow, because there was the level of trust there, and then they felt that I had an area of expertise because I had already experienced it.
exactly. And that's the beautiful thing, because, at the end of the day, it's all about relationships. And obviously, when you have a great name and your word is your bond and everybody sees your work ethic, they're going to want to go with you before they go with anybody else. You might have more flashier credentials, signs, et cetera, and so forth, internet presence. A lot of times you can throw all that out of the window, in my personal opinion, because a person's work ethic and personality and how they deal with people and how they show compassion and respect, because like you said, this is one of the biggest decisions a person will ever make, purchasing a home.
Yeah.
So when you bring that passion into the mix, it doesn't even feel like work. It just feels like you said you're living your purpose. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Next question. Please name one of the biggest cons and one of the biggest pros being a real estate agent.
One of the biggest pros I would say is I I love what I do because I love helping people and I
Mm,
love educating people. So it's a pro for me whenever I get that goal for somebody accomplished, whether it's selling their house or helping them buy another house or helping them buy their first time home. So a con, you're working with different personalities. So and everybody's not going to be a good fit for you. You know, I had to fire one of my clients, and you know, and you would say, and then some people have this thing where they think they could just treat you any kind of way because they know you are working essentially in the end, I mean, you have to get paid, right?
right.
And so they, you know, but I'm like, I had to tell this guy actually recently, I was like, well, hold on, don't misunderstand, like, I don't have to work with you. So because he made some kind of comment, I was like, oh, no, 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 like, let's not get it
Respect.
twisted. I mean, it's okay if I mean, yeah, it sucks because you know, if you've already invested time, but half of our time is wasted, to be honest. But I would say the con is like you are working with those different personalities,
Mm.
and you end up being, and it's not a con, but I always tell people I'm a therapist, I don't know, a counselor, just, you know, financial advisor. You just become all these all these things for your client when they're going through that process. So I would say that, you know, you just have to be prepared to handle certain challenges that come along with it because you are working with people and they are trusting you to make that large investment.
I understand. So next leads to the next question. So outside of being a successful real estate agent and investor, what's next for Talithia Morris as far as any other expansions in real estate that you're looking to get into?
Sure. Well, so in the summertime, my boyfriend and I, we started a short-term rental business.
All
So
right.
I'm actually shifting out of the phase of fix and flips,
Okay.
and I'm going to the short-term rental business. So now we have 12 units, and actually that's why I'm in the car now because we're gonna head to Reston because we have to set up a unit for somebody that's checking in on the 12th.
Mm,
So we have to get all the furniture set up in there, and they're gonna be there for about 4 months, I think.
very
So
nice.
yeah, and then I'm buying an apartment complex this year. So
Oh
it
man,
might, hey, it might be on December 31st, but
that's what I'm talking about.
it's gonna happen in 2020.
That's what I'm
So
talking about.
that's the goal this year is to purchase an apartment complex.
Very
So
nice.
it might be a fourplex, it might be a sixplex, I don't know, but it's gonna be in a complex.
That's all. That's all that matters. And you know, and the great thing that you and your significant other, you guys, since you guys are doing this, you know what they call that? Financial love making. I love it.
So,
Talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Now you got me motivated. Last question. Please. Have you thought about getting involved in any other investments, such as, if you haven't already, cryptocurrency, the stock market, or joining a gold investment team or something to that effect?
um, no, honestly, I haven't, because I feel like I don't, I want to stay focused. So if I start trying to dabble here, dabble there, you know,
Mhm.
with different, I was gonna look into the stocks at some point, but I just I love real estate,
I
and
understand.
I've had in the education that I've learned, it's allowed me to be able to help other people like in certain financial situations with their mortgages and so forth. So now I'm able to create an opportunity to make it a win-win situation for both of us. So
Mm,
like our next fix and flip deal, I wouldn't have did this if it wasn't brought to me.
mm,
But since it was brought to me, I've been working with this lady for over a year now. But now she's decided, okay, I need to move from this house because I can't handle it anymore, and it's just
mm.
because of her medical conditions now.
Mm,
But I'm helping her transition into another place, and then we're gonna renovate the property. It's not gonna be a huge profit, but I'm gonna be able to help some other people that are on my team with the real estate investing that I do, to help them, show them the process, and then in turn, I'm able to help her. And then, we're not gonna be at a loss at the end of it.
absolutely. And you know what? That's what I'm talking about. Because when you give back, you always get something back, and it always makes you feel more genuine inside at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
thanks, Talithia, again for doing this. I know you're real busy, so please let everybody know how they can contact you if they need any of your services in the future.
Sure. All right. So I'm on Facebook. It's just my name, Talithia Morris. I have my website is just talithiamorris.com. And then learn more with Talithia. I think that was just set up. So you can click on there. And then I'll have some more YouTube, like 2020. I'm gonna be on camera.
All
So
right.
I'll have some more videos coming soon in the next few weeks.
All right, very nice. And I definitely need to pick you and your boyfriend's brain because in 2021, I'm trying to move into the commercial realm of investing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just this year trying to buy some more properties and whatnot in the Pennsylvania area, but definitely, and Los Angeles. But definitely need to pick you guys' brain when it comes to getting that commercial experience. I know it's way more work and a whole different kettle of ballpark when it comes down to it. So, but thanks.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys keep doing what you're doing. You guys have a great day. All right. Thank
All
you.
right. You too. Thank you.
No problem. Bye bye.
Mhm.